I think I can, with this video, help you pull together a greater understanding of all the work we're doing. Now, looking on the board, you know that this is the model, this is the accountability tracking that we're working on. This is your assignment. We're separating what is from the programmatic reaction from the outcome. So what I'm going to do is give you an example, and through this example, my intention is to tie together all the work that we're doing. Opposites are the same, the identification of the programmatic self, the 3 adjectives and 1 noun, like that, right? And my intention is to do it as fast as possible. Speed transformation. Go. Okay. So here's your example. I'm at a wedding, and I'm programmed to be shy, right? And I have to give the best man toast. So the reality I'm operating in is I have to give the best man toast. I program myself to be shy, and what will the outcome be? What's the emotional outcome? Fear, anxiety, I-E-T-Y, right? Fear. What will my behavior be? My behaviors, which also exist in the world of domain, I'll be limited. I'll be afraid, right, to perform. Now, this model also points to 2 different realities. So you have the reality that exists here, right? And that's the world that's real. That's the world that exists. That's the world that is what is. People, wedding, tables, music, I'm standing, etc. Now, that world is then interpreted by who I program myself to be, which is to say my identity. Right? My beliefs, my goals, morals, ethics, values, all of that which you think is who you are. That's the programmatic self. And in this scenario, we're identifying ourselves as shy. Our history is that we're shy. The future we're moving into is predicated on us being shy. The entire reality that I have access to creating is really generated through the programmatic response shy, building anxiety. Here's the second reality. Look. So you have 2 different realities. One exists. One actually doesn't exist. This exists in your brain, in your body, fully, absolutely created by you. And literally, you can't touch it. It exists nowhere other than an electrical synaptic response in your brain. So you can learn to distinguish, right? To separate the created reality from the reality that exists. Now, as you're able to do this, right? As you're able to identify the programming and how it operates, which is one way. It only operates one way, like the understanding of being shy. You can then begin to discern and choose the reality or the outcomes that you intend to create in your life, which would look like this, right? It would look like this. The reality would look like erasing programmatic responses and inputting, right? So erasing, right? And inputting what? Transparency, radical honesty, and accountability. Now, what do I have access to creating in my life? That's the work that we're doing. Now, at the wedding, coming from my transformation, which is to say I'm inspired by the opportunity to be transparent, radically honest, and accountable. What are the results that I can begin to create? See, the world around me didn't change. The wedding is the wedding is the wedding. The world is, my wife didn't change. The business climate didn't change. The reality I'm operating in didn't change. What changed is where I'm coming from. So what are the results? People laugh, you have a great time, it's an extraordinary experience, and that's who you have the opportunity to become. Somebody who's lit in life, alive in life, you know, being with life from my transformation versus from my programmatic reaction is two different lives. It's two different futures. That's what you need to see. It's you know, which future do you want? You want a future derived by your programming, or you want a future derived by your transformation? See, the choice is yours. When does this choice become yours? When you're willing to choose transparency, radical honesty, and accountability over the safety of your programming. And that's the work that we're doing. So we're exploring who we've programmed ourselves to be, how the programming operates, so as to provide the opportunity to choose transparency, radical honesty, and accountability, right? But, right, and stay with me, we don't have the opportunity to do this work if we can't see our programming. If we're unable to identify the programmatic reaction, like you think your rationalization's real, you think your justifications are real, you think your belief structures are it, your feelings are real. If you buy into that bullshit, then you don't have access to choosing. And this is why the basic training can be so loving, you could say, because we break down the power the programming has over the person. And that separation, right? We can be attached to our programming. And then that creates pain and suffering. That's your attachment. That's not my attachment. Your attachment. And you create that pain and suffering. That's my commitment. So now imagine a life that you create for yourself coming from transparency, radical honesty, and accountability. Very quickly, look, going back to programming and our transformation, to help us identify, right? To help us identify the programming, we've got to get good, bad, right? We've got to be able to see that. We've got to be able to see right, wrong, success, failure. Matt, we have to be able to see that that's all programming. Not our transformation. When we come from this reality here, change, you know, the need to change, that's programmatic. If you need to change your tires, it's because they're flat or broken. So if you need to change something about yourself, where you're coming from is that you're flat or broken. I know it's difficult to get. When you start to get these distinctions, that's when you can start to choose something new. Again, transparency, radical honesty. I'm sure you've got it by now. For fuck's sakes, folks. All right? That took probably more time than you think. See you on the call.